Often mistaken for being French, some would say for his looks, skill and love of pastry, our next chef is actually as Swiss as a chocolate cuckoo clock. Formerly the executive pastry chef of the Four Seasons, and now the owner of his own business-to-business bakery called Bread Elements, Gregoire Michaud is without a doubt one of Hong Kong's most loved pastry chefs.
Today we get up close and personal with him to see what makes him tick and ticks him off. Thanks for joining us, Gregoire.
Good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you for having me.
Good, you are.
Good. So being a pastry chef is probably one of the hardest things even in the chef world. What got you started?
A bit of a typical story with the family at home. Everything is homemade, so every day coming back from school is licking wooden spoon of chocolates, and then I thought, why, if I can do it myself, I can have a lot more.
Was it your mom or your dad or somebody that actually
both.
baked?
Both, yeah.
Oh, they cooked at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
And where did it take you then?
Took me to a small bakery in the town, in my hometown, and I tried first. I tried cooking and didn't like it because it was full of oil and of smell, and onions and stuff. But then I tried baking.
You smell, Jason.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be this is Gregoire's section.
I tried the bakery, and although the hours were really hard for when you're 15-year-old and you have to wake up.
You started at 15.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. When you start to wake up at 1 a.m. to go to work, it changes your life, and it's quite painful. But eventually, I probably enjoy the pain and stick to the job. Yeah.
And has it been something that you've loved since you started? Have there been times when you've said, God, I wish I'd have been a chef or done something different?
No. The only thing that I would say is I want more. I want to challenge myself more. I want to discover more. And if I was somewhere without any potential to discover more or to do more, then I would say, oh, I have to move. I have to go somewhere else to discover more.
You were at the Four Seasons for or actually it was longer than 8 years, I think. And
It was since the opening in 2005, yes.
And certainly you reached the top of what you could do. There were three Michelin stars for that hotel, especially for Caprice. How much more higher can you go, and how else can you challenge yourself?
I think you can always challenge yourself to do better. Once you believe you've reached the top of your skills and the height of your career, I think you need to think again, and and go to the groundwork and try again, do different things. I believe sleeping on status quo, on what you believe is the best, is a mistake. So for me, after so many years, I've been working for now 22 years and doing many different things, different aspects of the food and beverage world. It was more about entrepreneurship, about starting my own business, which is a different side.
This is the Bread Elements now.
That's Bread Elements, and that's things I've never knew before how to do. Logistic and it's not anymore about baking, but it's from the bread comes out of the oven to the guest table in different restaurants. That part is.
And have you found the pressure of running a business as opposed to working in, say, a structured environment like a hotel?
Well, thankfully the business is very good. So there is not a financial pressure. There is more a service pressure, because before in a hotel we are one bakery for maybe 4 or 5 restaurants. Now we are one bakery for 10 or 20 hotels, Michelin stars restaurants, and the pressure is a lot greater.
So where does the passion come then, when it's now, of course you have a business that's built on something that's driven by passion.
Yes.
At some point, especially with bread and the economies of all these sort of things, they start to get further and further apart.
I think it's something we have to for us, we have to stick to what we believe and to what we do. Every day I am baking as well. I'm like with
hands-on.
the team. I'm hands-on doing the baking. Then the rest of the day I'm doing meeting the chefs, going around finding suppliers. You know, it's as long as you don't disconnect with the product. I think you keep an eye on what you're doing. I think it will continue, but it's not. Okay, I'm lost.
Is it hard to juggle the two, like the business side of it and the passion side? Do you find you have to compromise?
That's actually it's a hard point, but that's why we reduced our line of products to focus on only few items. We do a little bit of customized item for some people, but we try really to concentrate, and we use not so many machines, and we hire more bakers.
Everything's by hand.
And
by
everything
hand,
is each baguette is shaped one by one by hand. So it takes time, but the result talks.
So there's a lot of man hours in things like that, and oftentimes the bread basket is something that is a bit forgotten, or at a restaurant for a long time, I think. And what made you think there was an opportunity there for you to jump in and offer quality bread to something that people tend to put on the side?
And especially in Hong Kong, given that we don't really understand bread, and it's only something that's really now coming into it.
It's it's a very good question. I think it's a bit of a test, we didn't know if it will work or not. That's why we started very small. But at the beginning, my partner Mark and myself, we thought, every day we bake these great bakeries for Caprice, for the lounge, for different outlets, and we thought, wow, this, what if we could actually have this for other people? Do you think they would actually be interested? And that was the spark of the idea. Then we tried, and we thought, if we continue to work with the same pride and the same care we did since we started, with all the methods, the slow fermentation, the quality and everything, we thought there was no reason for us to fail.
And with the youngsters that are coming through, with you starting at 15, obviously there was something that drove you to it. Have you found in Hong Kong that there are less and less people that are wanting to bake, and if so, why?
There is a lot less interest from the young generation. I don't know all the reason, but one of them is people don't see being a baker as I was wearing a suit with a BlackBerry in your hand and say buy, sell, to bake bread is it's a manual job. It's very physical. We often see young people coming to try and run away because it's
hard.
It's the hardest
hard,
of all of the food and beverage.
It's heavy, it's warm, it's hot. You need to stand up. I mean, I'm not trying to discourage anyone here.
Sure. And you
But
start at 2
that's
a.m.
the reality of it,
Yes, and often you have to work overnight. You work on public holidays. It's really a different life.
And yet people who do it love it.
Yes,
It's one of those that they don't change.
After I've seen we have a few young people who are just out of school, and that's their passion, and they stick. It's hard, and they have a hard time, and it's very physical, but they stay. But it's very rare compared to maybe 20 years ago. It was a different game.
And on top of all of the hours that you put in, you also have a very, very strong social media presence. You have a lot of people that follow you, and that take a great deal of interest. And you were probably one of the first chefs in Hong Kong that actually did it as well as has been done. Does it take a lot of your time?
Put in a lot of effort to take great photos, cameras, lenses, all the whole deal.
And the 5 books.
And the 5 books, yeah.
Yes, it's a lot of work. It's I started the blog with the idea of being a support platform for my first book, because I am not good at writing a book for people at home to understand. When I talk to a professional, and the way I wrote was like I was talking to myself, and I've learned since then, after 5 books, I eventually learned how to write better recipes so that people can understand at home, but the first one was very professional, and so I had a lot of inquiries from people asking me, what do you mean? What do you use? And so on. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, that too fast, too slow, blah, blah. So I said, okay, I'm gonna make the blog, and then people can ask questions online, and then I can just, reply. And eventually it became, it had a snowball effect, and it continued, and then the second book came, and so on. And on this base then came all the social media, the Twitter, the Facebook, and it was eventually encouraged by someone to thank you, Jason.
What did I do?
to join more social media platforms, and after I believe it's more about being genuine in what you share and what you say. Yeah. There was never any intention for me to there is no self-ego esteem into what I post. It's just professional. I share my passion, I share what I love. Eventually, if there is a filming or a magazine or an award or something, yes, but I am not going to like, oh look, I did that, it's great. It's, stay down to earth.
One of the other things that you do on those platforms is to show your family, in effect, in a way, and the experiences that you have with your kids when you bake and that sort of stuff. Do they have the same interest, and do you think they'll follow your career, or are you going to discourage them from being bakers or pastry chefs?
Oh,
another good question for you then.
Yeah, I sure, of course, I want my son to follow my path, but it will be up to him. It's his choice, his decision. He tells me now, he's 9-year-old, and he tells me that I want to be a baker like you, so I don't need to go to school. So I said, well, you need to know calculations, writing, and everything, and it's a long path, and it's hard. You need to try it out before you can say I want to be a baker. So he will.
And you've been in Hong Kong a long time now, and you still find the city inspirational, and is it home?
Oh,
and will it be home?
I think it's just the beginning. I think this city is so full of potential, and when we started this business, now it's a whole different platform,
Yeah.
It's
so what's next for Gregoire Michaud?
maybe a book.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Yes. And probably some stores, and then I don't know, but I think when you step in the world of entrepreneurship, as the ideas you have is just there is no limit.
Yeah.
As long as you can create things that work, you'll move forward.
Good. Gregoire, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That's the end of our up close and personal chat with Gregoire Michaud.